Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another CSS tutorial where we'll be learning how to create this image of a sleeping moon. And this tutorial is inspired by this tutorial from Vecteezy, and it's intended for Adobe Illustrator, but we'll be converting it into HTML and CSS. And so it's not very hard. There are a bunch of round shapes, half circles, and we also have these arms that we'll be creating using border and border radius. And I also added this animation for the Z letters. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and let's go ahead and get started. So actually put it. So I will create a new file, index.html, and I'll open it in Sublime Text. Okay, so as usual we'll have a container where we'll be placing the shapes, and inside of that container I will have two shapes, one for the sun over here and another one for the moon, and all the elements of the moon will be inside of the moon div. So let's start with the defaults. So this container will position it in the center using these properties, and I'll give it a border just to see where it is. And inside of that container we'll be placing the sun and the moon. So let's start with the sun first. Okay, and we'll use the before element to add the center of the sun. And we are ready with the sun. So let's move to the moon. Okay, we want the moon to be in the center of the container. And let's add the before element. And for the before element, I want to add this, I don't know if it's visible, but I want to add this crescent shape on top of the moon. So we'll add it using a box shadow property. Shadow. So this will be 0, minus 15, 0. Okay. So we're also gonna add a border radius. And there we have it. So we achieve this effect using a box shadow, and the border radius will make it round. And because it's the same width and height as the moon, it will fit perfectly. Okay. Now we need to create these eyes, and these eyes will be actually semicircles, and let's see them in action. So inside of the moon, eye left. So we'll have two eyes. The left and the right eye we'll style them separately. So let's start with the left eye. And we're actually gonna create this using a border and a border radius of 50. I mean, not 50, but okay. I'll add a border radius of okay, and we'll remove the border top. Now the left eye or just left will be 70 pixels away. Now when we're adding these border properties, you will see that the top corners, they are very sharp, and here we want to make them round. And one thing we can do is for the eye, we can use the before and after pseudo elements to add a circle and place it right here. So this is what we're going to do right now. We'll add one circle for the left part and one circle for the right part of the eye. And let's make it round. So here's the circle, and we're adding it on top, so it looks like it is rounded. And we'll do the same thing for the after, so for this part of the eye. Okay, so this is the left eye, and the right eye will be the same. We're just gonna change the position. It will be right 70 pixels. Okay, so the eye is ready. The eyes are ready. Next we're gonna add these, I think these are cheeks, the cheeks, and also the mouth. So inside of the moon, and we also need a border radius. I mean, not this, but border radius. Okay, so this is the left cheek, and because the right cheek is absolutely the same as the left one, we'll create it using the box shadow. So 170 from to the right, 0 from top and the same color. Okay. So this is done. Now we need to create the mouth. Okay, so the mouth is ready. Now we're gonna create the hands. And for the hands, I'm gonna pretty much create a div, and I will add it a border, but I'll remove the border bottom. So these are pretty much, this is the two hands are actually one single border. Okay. Now, because the hands are bigger than the parent container, which is the moon, we're gonna center it using left 50%, transform translate -50. Okay, and because the hands are on top of the moon, we'll give it a z-index of -1, so they are underneath the moon. And for I'm gonna remove the bottom border and edit the border radius. And there we have it. The hands are almost done. Now if you see in the original image, the hands have this rounded corner. So we're going to do the same effect that we did with the eyes. So at the end, so we'll be using the before and after, and we'll add 2 circles at the end of these hands. Okay, so we just need to position them. Okay, and they look nice. Okay, now underneath the hands we have this shadow. So we're gonna add a hands shadow. And the hands shadow will be just like the hands. It will be a border that we'll place under the hands. And we'll move them under the hands. So z-index minus 2. Okay. And just like the hands. Now, if you guys are wondering why I didn't use text box shadow for the hands initially, it's because they're created using a border. So I cannot add a box shadow to a border. So that's why we need to create a separate element for the shadow of the hands. And just like with the hands, we need to add these circles here. Like if you guys see, there is also a circle. These are round. They are rounded. The end of the hands are rounded. So we're going to do the same with the shadow. Okay. Okay, so the shadows are done. Now the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add a shadow under the moon, and we're gonna add a separate element under the hand shadow. And the reason why we are not adding a shadow for the moon is because we need to give it a z-index so that it is under the moon and not confront with the hands. So this is the shadow under the moon. It will have the same dimensions as the moon. Okay. So we're gonna make it round, and we need to give it a z-index of -1. Okay, -2. Okay, so we're pretty much done with the shapes. Now we need to add these letters, the Z letters, and I'm gonna add a div with a class of text, and inside of it I'll have two spans, and I'll just place Z. Now they appear here. Now actually, before we start styling the Z's, we need to import a really nice font that I found called Zorque from this URL, and I'll share the URL under the description of the video. So the font is completely free, so I'm gonna download it, extract it, and here is the font. Now in order to use it, we need to import it. So I'm going to import it way up to the top. And the font is called Zorque. And for the source, it's in the same directory. And the format is open type. Okay. So next we need to style the. So these two letters, they are spans inside of the div, inside of the text div. So okay. Font size will be 32 pixels. So here's the color, and for the font weight it will be bold. Now for the spans, okay, absolute positioning, and we'll style them individually. So the first one, and the second one. Was it here? Okay. So I think they need to be like 70, 60, 50, 30. Okay, more like that, I guess. Okay. And the last thing, I'm gonna add an animation to the letters. And we'll just change the opacity of each letter. And for the second letter, I'll add animation delay, 0.3 seconds. Okay, and there we have it. Our sleepy moon is ready. We're just gonna remove the border around the container. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and see you soon.